Zero maintenance.
Yeah, that was the plan. I guess the downsizer checklist. That house-like proportions was important. Eventually we got sort of exactly one that fit 99.9% of the brief. Vipul was fabulous at looking at like all the accounting side, the economic side of the reports. Thrilled with the price we got it for in the end. It was literally the only one that met every aspect of the brief. So ultimately we were really thrilled with the value for money that we got our place for. Everyone's quite pleased that the journey's over.
Right time, right price.
We had a large house with 5 bedrooms and the kids had gone. COVID was at an end, so we were working from home necessarily, and it was time. We were looking to retire, and so we wanted a place that we could lock up and leave. So we wanted an apartment. We didn't want the gardens or gutters.
Zero maintenance.
Yeah, that was the plan. Our brief was 3 bedrooms, so I could have a second sitting room, 120 square metres minimum internal living space, a nice sized balcony that you can entertain on and swing a cat on, an outlook. It didn't have to be water, but we didn't want to just look at 4 walls sort of thing. We wanted to be able to charge our car in the garage. We also wanted to be able to do the software upgrades to the car, which is difficult in a lot of apartment buildings, depending on how far away from the garage you are. Minimal stairs, you know, we didn't want upstairs, downstairs. I guess the downsizer checklist. So 2 bathrooms. And we wanted to be able to fit decent sized furniture in each of the rooms. You know, you can't do that when your lounge is 3.6 wide. You know, we would have been throwing everything out and starting again. That house-like proportions was important. A lot of what we looked at fit 70 to 85% of the brief, but there was often one big thing that places didn't hit, or they had traffic noise or a tiny 3rd bedroom. Ultimately, we took 9 months to find the place that we eventually bought. It was not an easy process, you know, because the size that we were looking for of 120 to 150 square metres of internal living space doesn't exist in our market. They do exist, but they're very expensive generally. So it wasn't an easy brief to meet, and we did get despondent from time to time. So that's where Vipul also came in, going, you know, just
Persevere.
We'll see how we go. It's not time to, you know, start compromising just yet. And, you know, there will always be some sort of compromise, but eventually we got sort of exactly one that fit 99.9% of the brief. It was a terrific buy in the end. Really good.
And I think, as Gabrielle just said, that the fact that Vipul had intimate knowledge of pretty much most of the apartment offerings in the neighbourhood that we wanted helped weed out, you know, a whole lot of places that he just said, don't go there, right? It's not what you want. Right?
There was no pressure to buy. We were picky, and he was right there with us in trying to get the right place for us. We had never owned an apartment before, so we were a little bit put off by the amount of paperwork that we would have to go through to make sure that the place was right. Vipul was fabulous at looking at like all the accounting side, the economic side of the reports, and took a lot of the pressure off us, because often you have to move really quickly and there's a lot of detail sometimes in the minutes of meetings and the stuff that you need to wade through to get yourself comfortable that it's the right building and a building that is not going to be difficult down the track. You know, all buildings need capital works and need stuff done to them from time to time, but you don't want to be walking into something that's going to be a problem up front. But that was a really positive gain for having informed buyers on the journey. People was terrific at that sort of thing. With the place that we eventually bought, it was owned by a trustee company. So we probably would have balked a bit at that. So it was quite good to have someone to bounce ideas off with that. And Vipul was really good at kind of holding his nerve and just sort of sticking with the strategy and then executing it. So we got it for
The right price.
Thrilled with the price we got it for in the end. That was terrific. It was literally the only one that met every aspect of the brief. We got 120 square metres of internal living, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, a nice sized balcony and Middle Harbour water views. The outlook is north-east, so it's just a very calm, lovely place to be.
10 minutes walks from the shops and restaurants and cafes. So.
Yeah, so all of that convenience that we'd been used to in the house, we still have. A lock-up garage, 4 steps, a very small building. The neighbours are delightful. Yeah, we're able to charge the car, update the software, all of that stuff. It's going to be lovely. I think ultimately it was the price we got the apartment for. We did much better than budget in the end. We really did better than we thought that we were going to have to. At the point of thinking we were going to have to increase the budget and start looking at that next level of stuff, when the place that we eventually bought came on the market. So ultimately we were really thrilled with the value for money that we got our place for. I think without Vipul's advice that we might have not secured the property that we eventually secured. We got the place we wanted for a very good price, so I think we did really well. And I think the fee was well worth it in the end. And there was a lot of advice along the way. I think ultimately it was quite a compelling result.
The best thing is it stops us having to do all the legwork. Right, and going and seeing, hundreds of places, what a real estate agent describes and what the place is actually like can often be 2 different things. It helped by, getting advice that said, don't bother looking in this block of units, or don't, this.
Oh, I went to see this one last weekend and no,
it's not for you, and it's not what you want.
So that represents value for money as well. Money, and there's enough to look at when you're trying to find the right place without looking at places that you're not going to be interested in.
As Gabriel said, it took us years to buy a house. Right, looking in the lower North Shore and literally years. It only took us 9 months to make the decision on this apartment, so that's a record.
I think everyone's quite pleased that the journey's over and that there'll be a nice spare bedroom for people to drop in
Guests
on.
to come and stay.
So most of the feedback from friends and family has been really positive about what we've bought and where we've bought. People like the street. It looked fabulous in spring with all the
Jacarandas blooming.
jacarandas blooming. It really did look nice. So the feedback's been very positive. I think informed buyers was a really smart move from the perspective of the experience of buildings on the lower North Shore that might be worth a look or that might be worth bypassing. I think that we saw several places that were off market.
After using Vipple, we recommended one of our very close friends who was also moving and downsizing, and recommended she speak to Vipple, and she subsequently has also purchased her forever apartment.
She's delighted also with what she bought and got it in the right time frame.
Right time, right price.